If Charlie Chaplin were alive today, he'd probably be in jail. The details of his sex life are just about as controversial and disturbing as those of Harvey Weinstein's. But since he lived in an era when scandals were often covered up by studio press agents and fixers, he got a free pass to do just about whatever he pleased, regardless of who he hurt or traumatized. Chaplin was one of the most prominent and adored stars of his day. His career spanned more than 7 decades, and while there's no denying his genius, it was an open secret in Hollywood that the filmmaker and actor had a disturbing predilection for young girls. When the details of his disturbing pattern of behavior finally came to light, Chaplin was forced to leave the U.S. behind for good and retire from the public spotlight forever. Keep watching to learn more about how Charlie Chaplin's ravenous libido proved to be his undoing. Chaplin was obsessed with very young girls. 3 out of 4 of Chaplin's wives were 18 or younger when they got married to him. Only his third wife, Paulette Goddard, was older. She was 26 when she and Chaplin secretly got married in a private ceremony, but their relationship eventually deteriorated, as did so many of his other romances. In 1916, Charlie started dating Mildred Harris, who was just 14 at the time. After announcing she was pregnant in 1918, Chaplin was forced to marry her to avoid going to jail. Their marriage proved rather short, as just 2 years later they divorced. 3 years after that, Charlie began dating his future third wife, Lita Gray. Once again, this new object of the 34-year-old star's affection was only 15. What makes this even more disturbing is the fact he had first met her when she was 6 years old. Before they started dating, Chaplin had put Lita in his films when she was 12. To avoid scandal, Chaplin commissioned his older female friend Thelma Converse to accompany him and Lita on their dates. After Lita got pregnant and threatened to slap Chaplin with a paternity suit while pressing charges for sexually assaulting an underage girl, she and Charlie got married in 1924. Although he eventually gave in to Lita's pressure by marrying her, at first he wanted to avoid marriage by any means necessary. A few of his suggestions to her were that she either get an abortion, commit suicide, or marry another man in exchange for a $20,000 bribe. Details of Chaplin's love life were published. In 1927, after being married for 2 years and having 2 children, Charlie and Lita got divorced. Lita's divorce complaint ended up being published and distributed across the U.S. The lengthy 42-page legal document revealed all sorts of unsettling and stirring details about Chaplin's sexual appetite. On one occasion, Chaplin allegedly threatened Lita with a loaded revolver. We also learned he had cheated on her with at least 5 different women. The document detailed some of Charlie's deepest, darkest fantasies. Apparently, he dreamed of having sex with Lita in front of a live audience, receiving oral sex from her whenever he pleased, and having a threesome. After Lita refused to fulfill his fantasies, he evidently screamed at her, saying that all married people do such things, and that since she was his wife, she had to do what he demanded of her. After the judge in the divorce case reviewed these claims, he granted Lita the most significant divorce settlement in history at the time. Chaplin was ordered to pay her $600,000, around $9.5 million in today's money, and an additional $200,000 to their 2 children. Before we tell you more about Charlie Chaplin, be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to Facts First if you haven't already. Chaplin allegedly trafficked actress Joan Barry. A year before Chaplin's 7-year marriage with Paulette Goddard ended, he met a young up-and-coming starlet named Joan Barry in New York. The two began an affair almost immediately. Charlie was 52 at the time and Barry was 21. Chaplin bought her a ticket to LA and she flew out to be with him. According to documents released by the FBI, Chaplin made Barry available for, quote, immoral purposes to other individuals. This was in violation of a law called the Mann Act, which prohibits the transportation of women across state lines for debaucherous purposes. After a brief court battle, however, Chaplin was exonerated of these charges. Barry accused Charlie of fathering her daughter. Joan Barry, who likely suffered from mental illness, became pretty erratic once her and Chaplin's relationship began to fall apart. On one occasion, she broke into his house and threatened him with a gun. Barry later testified in court that Chaplin had fathered her child, Carol Ann. Chaplin vehemently denied this accusation and submitted to a blood test to prove he wasn't the girl's father. The test result confirmed he was not the father of Carol Ann, but at the time, blood tests were inadmissible in court. Despite the results, the court ruled that Chaplin was responsible for Barry's pregnancy, and he was ordered to pay child support and court fees. In 1952, Chaplin left the U.S. for good. He was quoted as saying he wouldn't return even if Jesus Christ were elected president. A year later, blood tests were made admissible in court by California's Uniform Act on Blood Tests to determine paternity. Happily ever after. After 3 miserable marriages, Chaplin finally settled down with a woman with whom he would remain married until his death in 1977. He met Una O'Neill in 1943. She was the 18-year-old daughter of famed playwright Eugene O'Neill. Una's dad wasn't a big fan of Chaplin and was disapproving of the marriage due to the enormous age gap. Chaplin was 54 when he and Una got married, which means they had 36 years between them. In fact, Una's father was just 6 months older than Chaplin. After she married Chaplin, Una's father disowned her and never spoke to her again. Chaplin was once quoted as saying that if he had known Una, or a girl like her, decades prior, he would never have had any problems with women. He said she was the one he'd been waiting for all his life. The two had 8 children together. Una was initially infatuated by Chaplin and served him on bended knee. While it seemed like Chaplin was perfectly happy and satisfied in the marriage, the same couldn't be said for Una. She eventually became a raging alcoholic. Guests who visited their home witnessed the couple often getting into fiery fights in which Una would run from room to hide from an infuriated Chaplin. Chaplin may have slept with as many as 2,000 women. Some historians have estimated that Charlie Chaplin slept with over 2,000 women. Chaplin never confirmed this number, but it's alleged that he was so sexually promiscuous due to severe abandonment issues that he developed as a child. Chaplin's father left his poor family when Charlie was a young boy. His mother prostituted herself to support him and his siblings. Because of her lifestyle as a sex worker, she contracted syphilis, which resulted in her developing mental illness and dementia. His difficult upbringing undoubtedly had an influence on his success, failures, and future relationships. Chaplin invented the casting couch. Some Hollywood historians think Chaplin was the one responsible for coming up with the idea of the casting couch. Cinema historian Kevin Browning claims that during auditions, Chaplin would dress up as his signature Tramp character. He would then communicate with the actress auditioning with caption cards and miming gestures. Reportedly, in order to put their abilities to perform to the test, the cue cards would become increasingly more lewd and demeaning. Chaplin would allegedly get these women to undress themselves before he would touch them inappropriately in an exaggerated silent film acting manner. At the end of the audition, they apparently would be standing in front of him naked as he threw cream pies at them. Now it's time to hear from you. What was the most surprising part of this story? Let us know in the comments section below. And before you go, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to Facts First if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.